Greetings, everyone. We are back. Yes, we are back with
another one.
Another one, he says.
Another one.
Another one, he says. That's right. Darkness with the Ginger Hue is back, and we are happy to be back. So again, before we get this started, definitely have to introduce the man of the hour, my co-host, Slang Hue, fresh off of vacation. How you doing, Slang?
Peace. Greetings and salutations. Hope everybody's good. I'm good, man. I'm back. Bittersweet, but I'm back. You know, and I can't too complain because I got a reset, and you need the resets, just like we needed a reset here. Needed a break. Now we're back, stronger than ever.
Stronger than ever. Love it. Now, again, tell the folks where you went, what you did, and your experience on your vacation.
So, yeah, I went to Aruba with the lady and her friends and family. We went to, what's it called again? The Black Jazz Music Festival or Black Music Festival. I can't remember right now. But they have it every year, apparently, around the same time in Aruba.
Okay.
So it's like a destination event. For those who don't know what a destination event is, it's basically a week chock full of parties, comedy shows, concerts, live performances, all kind of things in a different place than your home, so to speak. I mean, Caravana kind of is a destination event for most people, but because I live here, it's not for me. But for people who come here, that would be considered a destination event.
It's like Carnival in them places.
Yeah, that type of thing, minus the parade and maybe the cultural influence, quote unquote, which we'll talk about that in Aruba in a second. But yeah, so for example, went to day parties on the beach. Then they had a street party where they locked off like a full block, and there was like two clubs across the street from each other, and you could go back and forth. Yeah, you pay one fee, you get in, and you could go back and forth between the clubs.
That's nice.
And then mostly American people, of course, because Americans love to party and they're very good at it. That's one thing I'll tell them. They're very good at partying. And I went to a concert, went to Boyz II Men.
Oh, yeah.
Tamia. Yeah, it was Boyz II Men and Tamia, basically. I can't remember the third act, but it was a local act. And they were pretty good too. But Boyz II Men, and I'm not the greatest Boyz II Men fan. I'm more a Jodeci guy, but it was good. It was really good. It's really good. I was impressed.
Yeah. Tamia too, she did her thing.
Tamia was really good too, actually. Now Tamia kind of lip synced, but it wasn't. You know, they
Obvious.
said Mariah Carey was like the night before that, I believe. Yeah, the night before.
So Mariah was already there.
Yeah, she was there the night before, and they said that she lip synced a lot. Like a lot of people were complaining that she lip synced a lot, which I kind of expect. So did Tamia, but I think Tamia did it very well. So if you weren't paying attention, because there's like a big screen where you could watch, you could see her closer, and if you weren't looking at the big screen, you couldn't tell it all. Like,
there's always screen delay.
That too, and it wasn't completely just lip syncing. It was more of a it helped her, so she would sing parts on the mic was on, and she would sing parts that weren't pre-recorded. So it was like a pre-recorded performance, but it was dope. It was really good. Boyz II Men though took the show for me. What else did I do there? But yeah, we were there for 7 days. For 4 of those days was the destination event because it started before we got there.
Right.
And then we were there about 3 days afterwards. So we got to see the island, went on a tour. Aruba is a very beautiful island. It's very nice to visit. It's not super cultural to me. Maybe I didn't get to that part of the island because sometimes I'm a kind of guy I like to go into the communities almost.
Of course.
And see how the real people live, but we didn't really get to do that. And yeah, man. So I mean, out of 6 scenes taken from our other show, I'd probably give it like a 4 out of 6. 4 out of 6. It was pretty good. I'd go back, just not for now.
So here's my question now. My question is, would you go back to that, or would you find another place to go to?
I like to move around, so I wouldn't
Okay.
go for. I'd go back,
Hmm.
wouldn't go for a few years.
Okay,
Uh,
so you try to cycle it through the other places you
yeah, I'd rather
always
go
say.
somewhere else. Yeah, Aruba's a place I always wanted to go back to because I've been there on cruise stops, but never like a full stay there for days. So
Gotcha.
I will always want to go back there. Carousel is another place I'm hoping to go do next. We're
Okay.
looking at
Okay.
maybe St. Lucia next year. So somewhere else, I'd go somewhere else.
Wow.
But
Okay.
I would go
You know,
back. I would go back.
it's nice. That's nice. It's
Yeah.
it's not your typical. Well, I guess it is. Would you say it's a typical destination, Aruba? People
For a
go.
lot of people, I think
Yeah.
so. I think it's on the list for a lot of people, but I don't think it's as popular as maybe because it's expensive compared to a lot of places too. It's not
Really?
as yeah, Aruba's more expensive than a Cuba, than a Jamaica, than a Mexico by far. For
But it but
example,
it but it's still underneath Hawaii and those other places like that.
you know what's funny? And I don't know if this has changed recently, but I
Okay.
just looked up Hawaii. Now that you mentioned that, I looked up
Mhm.
Hawaii a couple days ago because
Okay.
I always thought Hawaii was expensive. It's
Right.
not that bad, bro. It's not that
To to
bad.
to get there,
No, well, I don't know about all inclusive because I didn't look up that yet.
right?
But I remember looking and thinking the same thing that you were. I remember looking a few years ago, like, man, why is it? I
Yeah.
want to go, but it's expensive. But just the other day, I looked, and you could get flight and hotel for 5, 6, 7 days for like under 2,000. But I
Really?
don't know if that's all inclusive. That might be without food. That might be just a breakfast thing.
But again, if you plan it properly, you can always get by. It's just you don't know the cost of stuff. Well, it is America. It is US
That's
soil, isn't it?
Canadian. I'm talking about. Well, yes,
No,
Hawaii's.
no, but Hawaii is a US
Yes,
state. So
yes.
therefore you were just looking at American pricing when it comes
I
to
was looking
that
at
stuff.
Canadian pricing in terms of flight and hotel, but you're
Okay.
looking to your point, getting I've heard it's expensive there, and
Mhm.
that is US dollars. So maybe
Right.
eating drives up the price, but
Right.
still
The flight itself.
Aruba, in comparison to Aruba, again, this is all inclusive, so it's not a straight comparison,
Mhm.
but an all inclusive is like 3,200 per person, 32 to 34 per person.
Wow.
Now,
Okay.
given there's different factors, it was different dates. That's more of a Aruba was a when I went was a holiday weekend for Americans. That's their Veterans
Oh
Weekend, I
yeah,
think.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Memorial Day.
or Memorial, whatever. I don't
One
remember
or
what they
two.
call it.
Yeah,
Something like
yeah.
that. So that also could be why it was more expensive. And they have
Right.
that event there every year, so that's part of it. But still, 32, that's up there.
Yeah.
I haven't spent that ever. No vacation ever.
Unless I win a lottery, I don't think I would ever. Unless there was
Yeah.
like an important event,
If it's a for
like a
me, if it's
once in a
a
lifetime thing, maybe.
yeah,
Sure,
I might spend it for Hawaii because I always wanted to go there. I might spend it
I
for
would say the
Africa,
same. I would
or
I would say the
example.
same thing when it comes
Yeah,
to a place like Hawaii.
yeah,
Um, but at the same time, I heard a lot of people once they go once, they keep on going. Like
yeah,
that's the
yeah.
place that will suck you in. Like, man, I
I
gotta
can
go
see it.
back because you don't get to see everything. It's an island. You won't get to see
It's
every
an
island.
islands.
Yeah,
There's
that's
more
what I'm
than
like.
one, right?
Hawaii, it's more than one. So you get to
Yeah,
one,
yeah,
Honolulu, whatever. You're doing your
right,
thing, and like, wait, there's like six other islands that you could go to.
right,
You could get
right.
the same experience, but a
Yeah,
different experience.
yeah,
So traveling is, for me, anyways, is quite overwhelming. But again, I am
yeah.
determined to get that bug into me and
It's
get it
practice, man.
going.
It's just
Yeah,
practice. Because I know
yeah,
what you're talking about. It is
yeah.
practice, though.
You have to be open for anything and everything when you come on a trip. And I'm in my
Mhm.
controlled atmosphere, my house, my
Yes,
city,
yes,
my
yes,
car. All of a sudden,
yes.
I'm going there and taking the chance what could happen, where we would go, who I would meet, and so forth. So that's the fear I have. Honestly, that's the fear I
Mm,
have of when it comes to traveling because I have no control. Like
I
say,
get
for
that.
instance, the weather. I mean, you
Yeah, yeah,
know
yeah,
what weather you have here. When you get
yeah,
there, even when you're flying, oh my gosh, you're delayed,
yeah.
blah blah. I'm like, oh, I have to be at work at whatever. I have to be home at blah blah. Stuck, right? So
The worst part about traveling is the travel. That's the worst part.
No,
Once
right.
you get there, it should be cool, but the worst part is the travel.
You're
A-
right.
a- And to your point, it is embracing the uncomfortability.
Mm-hmm.
You do
Mm-hmm.
because there is I get it. It's even like you don't know what clothes to bring per se.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, you're not gonna have. You might forget something. You're not gonna necessarily have your favorite bath wash or your face
True.
rag and
Mm-hmm.
these little things that the comforts of home you may not have.
Yeah.
But I would venture to say that the experiences
Mm-hmm.
outweigh the uncomfortability. You gotta. I just say man's
Jump
trip.
in it.
Take a man's trip. It might be a little,
Mm.
and that way, if you take a trip, for me, my first few trips, I didn't really have to think about the details. Even
Okay.
this trip, I didn't really have to think about the details because the
You kind of
ladies
just
took care of that. Eh,
put in the funds
They
and say,
call it,
"Yo,
yeah, they call it being a travel princess, and I'm cool with that. I just show up with my passport and my luggage. What are we doing? Where are we going? And as
that
long as
sounds
you
like the
have a
perfect way
good,
to do it, though."
yeah, as long as you have good guides or people who are enjoy doing that stuff,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
organizing, you'll have a great time.
The only thing you can do is really complain because you're not part of the planning part of it. You just
That's
enjoy
and
them.
that's not me. If
Okay.
I'm not planning it, I'm not complaining about the outcome. The worst you might get out of me is okay, I'm not gonna go today. I'll just stay home. I'll stay in the hotel and sleep. As
Okay.
long as I didn't pay for it. Like whatever. If you guys are going to the beach today, I don't feel like going. And that's also a thing. You have to go with people who can understand that you don't have to be involved in everything.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Uh,
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. So let's start it off. Let's
mhm.
start it off because again, we've been away for a minute, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of things going, mostly sports related.
Mhm.
So let's just start the ball rolling now.
Mhm.
WNBA. First of all, I'm upset at Canada because they show no games on TV.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
looking to watch these games. I want to support any of these teams, and I can't
Mhm.
watch them. So I'm like, man. So when I watch highlights and I'm seeing some great games, great performances, I'm
Mhm.
so upset. But
Mhm.
anyways, that's another
About to
thing.
change though. That's about to
Yeah,
change.
that is true. That's
Uh,
true. That is true. It is
Toronto's
being
getting the team.
official. The WNBA expansion to Toronto
Mhm.
is official as of next year.
Yep.
So
That's
get
very good.
ready.
Yep.
Get ready. It had to be done.
Yeah,
The
I think so.
success of the Raptors
Yep.
with how big Toronto is and the
Mhm.
expansion of ball in general, because I mean the NBA is trying to go international.
Mhm.
WNBA needs to go get on board and put a team in Canada, if
Right.
not two teams,
Yeah, well,
if
we'll
not
see.
two,
Yeah, we'll
right?
see. Yeah, why
So
not?
congrats to Toronto for getting that.
Mhm.
But again, the topic is really we'll call it the Caitlin Clark effect. That's what we're gonna
Yeah.
call it. The
Yeah, yeah,
Caitlin Clark
yeah.
effect.
Yeah. Yeah, good way.
And how it is ruffling feathers throughout all of social media. I'm talking
Mm.
about entertainers, I'm talking about news journalists, I'm talking about rappers, I'm talking about actors.
Mhm.
Everybody's talking about it. And the one thing that bothers me about the whole thing
Mhm.
is that they made it a race thing. I didn't want it to go
Yeah,
there.
that was inevitable, man.
Yeah, no, I know, but I mean,
Yeah.
there's some people that just even the most professional ones are making it a race thing.
Yeah.
Because again,
There is a race element though, but
what
it's a diff
100%, but
yeah.
it's more of an ignorance element though. See,
Mhm. Mhm.
because they're using something that was done in college between Caitlin and Miss Reese,
Mm.
and the whole "can't see me" thing.
Right.
You said, "Oh, when Caitlyn did it, it was all right, but when what's her face did it, it was classless." I'm like, "No, it wasn't
Mhm.
classless.
Mhm.
It was
Mhm.
that was just her. That's her vibe. End of story. Leave
That's
that alone.
sports. It's just
Yeah,
sports.
leave it
You
alone.
beat me, you did it. Well, actually, she did it against another team, but still, you
Yeah,
did it. I get to do
exactly."
it. I get to do it now because you're not exempt.
And the thing is, Caitlyn said nothing about that stuff. Not one thing. That's the class I see with her.
Mhm.
Now they're in the NBA or
Mhm.
in WNBA and they're
Mhm.
balling. Well, she's struggling to ball because all the attention's on her and they're beating her down to a pulp. And again, she's taken like a champ, right? But at the same time, she's getting the negative draw from everybody else in the league, and I don't know why. I don't know why. What
It's
we have here is a generational talent. Generational talent. You don't get those much. You got that with Bird and Magic. You got that with Jordan.
Yep.
Hell, you got it with AI and Kobe and Shaq.
Yep.
So why not allow that? I mean, go WNBA. You had that with Lisa Leslie.
Yeah.
You had her with Miss Cooper,
Soups.
Miss Witherspoon. You had all these people.
Yeah.
The only thing its problem is the WNBA didn't have the eyes on them like they did. Social
That's
media
the
wasn't
difference.
crazy like that.
Yep.
It wasn't crazy. Now you have a woman who destroyed records in college. She has all the skills to play.
Yeah.
And she earned those records on her own. These are individual records.
Absolutely.
So when she comes to the NBA, those eyes that watched her in college are going to come and watch her in the WNBA. But the thing is, they think as Reese and others are saying, well, you're not the only reason that this huge craze or huge wave of popularity is coming to the WNBA. I'm like, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Like, I can't fault. You're great. Angel Reese, you're great. All the other ones that are in the first round, they're great. But all eyes on this woman to see what she can do. If she can repeat what
I
she can
disagree
do.
with you. I disagree
Oh,
with
really?
you. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with what Angel Reese said, and I agree with her in that Caitlin is not the only reason. She might be the biggest reason, but she's not the only reason. Angel Reese also has a fan base that followed her.
Yeah,
So
but
does
she's thinking the whole craze is on her, though. They think it's her. Like they think
no, she
it's
didn't say
just.
that though. That's not what she said. She said we're not watching WNBA just for one person. That's a true statement. We aren't. Nobody. Well, maybe some people are, but there again, there are Angel Reese fans. There are what's her name again? The girl that was from is it
Where those
Bucher?
on Sparks?
Paige Bucher. Forget that other blonde, tall blonde girl.
Yeah. That's the doll one that's blocking everybody.
Yeah,
She's good.
she has a fan base.
Yeah.
Like Caitlyn is the most important, I would say, player, a rookie out of that class. She's the most important because I could agree that without her, maybe the others wouldn't have as much clout. I would agree with that. She's again the biggest star out of these rookie stars. Definitely that. But she's not the only star. And I just realized something. Even the pitting Angel versus Caitlyn is the Magic versus Bird ideal, right? So there is a marketing going on there. There is that. Unfortunately, to your point earlier, the marketing turns into black and white because that is what media does. That's what media has always done. Caitlyn is the sweet white angel that's getting thrown around while ironically Angel is the sinner. The thing about marketing or the marketing plan here, and it could be a plan, conspiracy theorists activate. the Caitlyn versus Angel is a Magic versus Bird type vibe. They're gonna make it, and unfortunately, that makes it lead to a racial thing because one happens to be white, one happens to be black. So the media, though, makes one the evil one and one the good one, and usually the white person is going to be the good person, right? So that's what they're doing.
But
I don't even like. There's two ways to look at that. The Caitlyn getting beat up in the league thing. And I kind of agree with both sides, although I lean more to the side like, yo, this is sports. She's the rookie. She's coming in with all this clout. Of course they're going to test her. They did this to Lonzo Ball in the NBA. They do this to every rookie athlete in professional sports. Like, oh yeah, you're supposed to be the next man. All right, we'll see about that.
Right.
It happens all the time.
Right.
Anybody who comes in with that, they did it to LeBron. They didn't have to do it to Kobe because Kobe wasn't there yet. They did it to Mike.
Well, the thing is, you're right. They did it all, but
Yeah.
I'm assuming after a year or so, it's going to disappear, and then you get the league protection. They get the Jordan rule, right? You
That's
get the
what's gonna
calls.
happen.
No, you're
That's
right.
what's gonna happen.
Yeah, and I
The
get
league
that.
has to protect their asset, but the
Yes. Now,
players don't. The players aren't supposed to protect her just because she's bringing more money to the league. The players aren't supposed to do that. Yeah, I guess in logical theory, she's
mhm.
gonna put more money in all your pockets, so you all should leave her alone. But if they're real competitors, no, we're on the court, we're playing.
And again, more credit to everybody involved, including Caitlin, who's getting the bums. She doesn't even have social media, so she's not even talking or replying. So
Mm.
good for her for staying out of it. Now, does it make the other ones look bad? It makes them look petty,
It's all
but
about the painting of the picture.
right. But the thing is, that's why I think they're getting a bad rap about the
Mhm,
whole thing.
mhm.
Every comic, there's a good and there's bad. With Batman, you had Joker. Superman, you had Luther. You Angel Reed, you got Clayton Clark,
Yeah,
right? But at the same time, you have to market it properly.
yeah.
If they're gonna meet again, put that on the marquee, throw it up there.
Guaranteed those are the biggest games that get watched
Yeah.
for the
So
next
use that.
few years.
Oh,
Those are gonna be the biggest games to watch.
and then when the
I
other teams have their names or their stars, like the other girls that got drafted are playing well,
Yep.
they're saying, hey, they'll have a freaking say on whatever, and then all of a sudden their names will be the marquee. The only thing
Rivalries
is
sell.
the only thing is that a lot of these veteran players are getting jealous because they've
But
been in the
yeah,
league for years
yes.
and they're not getting any eyes. But the reason is because you had not brought anything to the league for us to watch
No, I don't
since
agree with that statement.
no,
I don't
no,
agree with
no,
that statement. I
no,
don't
the
agree with
hype,
that. I
the
understand.
hype, no,
No, I
the hype.
understand. I understand what you
Okay,
mean. I
what
do.
stories, what
In
storylines,
comparison, in
what
comparison,
yes, what
I would agree.
storylines? Okay, yes,
Yeah,
I'm talking storylines. I'm not talking about
yeah.
skill level. I'm talking about
Okay,
storylines.
okay. I agree.
Yes.
I agree.
Oh, the skill
I
has
agree.
always been there.
But here's the thing. Okay, while I agree, there we
Mhm,
can't. And again, to address somewhat of your earlier comment about making it a race thing, I agree it should not be a race thing. The
mhm,
problem again is a lot of this comes in be- because she's a white girl in a
yes,
predominantly black sport.
because she dominated in a black
Right.
dominated
No, that's
sport.
part of
Yes,
it. That's definitely
yes,
part of it. But there
yes,
are black girls that dominate in this sport all the time. They don't get that type of media coverage.
because it's given. It's a given. So
It's nothing new. It's not
you're
surprising to us.
right. But
It's not any
when
different.
you have a Larry Bird in the WNBA, I had to re-look at some
The
of these
great white
comments.
hype.
Yeah, there's a lot of comments that these Hall of Famers were saying. Says, "Yo, this." I was listening to a game on the radio, and I was listening to this Bird guy going off, doing this, doing that, and all of a sudden you look at the paper, you see his pictures of white boys.
Yeah, who is this guy? I thought he
What?
was a
Who
black
is this?
guy. So many
Yeah,
guys, exact. And it's not any like to turn it on its head. It's not any different than Serena in tennis or Tiger in golf.
the
It's
flip
not
side.
any. Don't get. It's not different. This is what happens. We've especially in here in North America, we
Mhm,
have been programmed that we only do certain things in as certain races, and when somebody steps out of those parameters that have been quote unquote set, it's
mhm.
like, "Oh, wow, they
Yeah,
actually do that? They can
yeah,
actually do that?" Where there's
yeah,
white girls playing basketball all over the world, and they're very good at it. But
100%.
I'm not saying they're as good as Caitlin, so that's also her talent also,
Mhm.
if not I don't know which ones are more effective, but if she didn't have the talent, it wouldn't work. So she definitely has the talent, and she's definitely a great player, but her being white just helps the marketing of her. Not sadly, we could even go to a Steph Curry who is not white, but the
Mhm.
light skin thing plays a
Oh,
role.
yeah, I was gonna say, you know what? They look at him like, He's a brother, but he's from another brother's side. He's on the other side of the brothers. The lighter side of the brothers, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. He's one of us, but he's just on the
Yeah,
it's down the
they
line down
what do
there.
they like to call it? He has the image.
Yes.
Yeah, he
Yes.
has the right image. That's what they like to
Yes.
say.
Yes.
So
Now,
yeah,
the WNBA, again, they know what they have, or do they? That's the question.
no, I
Really,
think
the
they
question
do.
is
I think they do.
right.
I think they do.
So again, to spin it all, I
Mhm.
do believe they need to market that attention on
Yes,
her the right way so
yes,
everybody gets attention. Because again, I was looking at the stats, and every city that she goes through, you're getting
sold
double
out almost.
digit,
Yeah.
yeah, 17,000, 15,000. Meanwhile, before you were getting 6 to 7.
Right.
So don't say
No, she's definitely a superstar.
right now. Again,
Definitely.
there's people like I think there's a few people were showing videos on TikTok and Instagram how she was away team, and there's a whole bunch of Netflix of her fans that are buying front row tickets, and she's taking
Mhm.
pictures and whatever in away games, and
Mhm.
she's just embracing them. Like, good for her.
Yep.
But the league needs to, understand they have to market her too. Jalen
No,
Clark's
the
coming to
league.
whatever.
I think the league is definitely marketing her. Um, I think that's also part of the media hoopla that's on her side. Like she's getting abused in the league. Angel Reese got thrown down in a game. We didn't get near as much coverage as Caitlin did when she got bumped and knocked over. Uh,
Oh, yeah,
not
okay.
even near as much coverage. So I think the league, I think the media are definitely trying to push her forward. Now, as I heard a player say on a podcast, her play has to match her effect, and that hasn't happened yet
But the thing is,
in the league.
okay, here, and this is why I feel bad for her, because that type of play was never what she was playing before she got there.
You got to adjust. Are you
No,
great
no,
or not?
no, no. I'm just saying to put that on her play as yeah, give her a year. If she
That's
sound, I
too.
mean,
That I'm not saying that's too long. I'm not saying that's too long, but it is in terms of the
yeah,
WNBA
yeah, okay,
because they
yeah.
don't. They need her to be their Steph. I was going to say to be their Steph Curry, but that's not even what she needs to be. She needs to be their Michael Jordan
Yeah,
or
yeah.
their Larry Bird, their Magic Johnson. She's here to
Well,
save the league, quote unquote.
here's the thing, though. It doesn't even have to be her. If Angel Reese can be that person and step up because of this, she could be the Jordan.
No,
She
I
could be
see
the
your point
Magic. You know what I'm saying?
because
So,
Caden can bring the eyes and Angel could to
yeah,
capitalize. I I,
yes,
I could agree with that.
but
I could agree with that.
again, the way she's taking the whole villain thing, don't take the villain route.
I don't
Magic
see
didn't
nothing
take
wrong with
the
that.
villain route.
It doesn't
She said
matter.
that. She
But
said
no,
no,
I don't think there's anything wrong.
no,
I disagree with you in that the villain sells tickets too.
no. I get it, but if she wants
Mm,
to be great, I mean, and I'll put some NBA villains out there, man, like
mm.
Rodman.
Yes.
He's a villain,
Yeah.
but he didn't get any recognition until later on in the
No,
career.
no, 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 no. That's not true.
Come
R-
on,
Guy, Rodman was a superstar in the league. Rodman
he
had
what?
books.
Yeah,
He was dating
no,
Madonna.
yeah, no,
He was a
no. That's no.
superstar in the
That
league.
when did he turn superstar? During that
In the
during
league
no
while
during
he
no
was
no
playing.
no no no. I'm not saying it's going to be in the league that's going to happen. What I'm saying is
Uh-huh.
it didn't happen till after later, like after, because he didn't turn. He was a villain when he came in the
Oh
league.
no, well, okay. The reason I agree with that. I know I see what you're saying. Or you're talking about
Yeah.
timeline. Okay, no,
Yes.
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah,
Because
yeah.
if you come in as a villain, they're just gonna put you until something you've done or something
No,
outside of ball gravitates them to you. And Rodman didn't get eyes on him until he started dyeing his hair differently. You know what I'm saying? He was
here's my
still
okay.
balling and he's still playing the way he was in Detroit and in San Antonio. And
Yeah,
then all of a sudden he changed his look, changed his feel, accepted the villain role at that time.
right.
That's when the whole eyes came on him. That's when he
I
became the
understand.
worm.
I agree almost overall. Only again,
Mhm,
this Bird versus Magic thing that's
mhm,
happening between her and Caitlin,
mhm.
it might make it different in comparison to a Rodman thing because, to your point, she could play off of Caitlin's being the darling, being the media darling,
Yeah.
and her
Yeah.
being the heel in this, and therefore growing her fan base with the people that don't like Caitlin, or the people that don't,
Yeah.
or people that do
Don't
like,
agree with.
yeah, with this,
Yeah.
let's baby her because she's the next coming
Right.
and da 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 da. I guess my example, because like you said, Magic didn't embrace the villain role per se,
Oh.
but he was still portrayed as somewhat of a villain
Oh,
compared to
100%. But in that era, in the
Birds. Yeah, in
70s,
that area.
in
Yeah,
that area, for
right.
sure. For
To
sure.
Birds, media
Yeah.
darling. And the truth is, it's kind of the opposite.
I was gonna
Magic
say
Magic was
the
more
media
the
guy.
nice guy.
Yeah.
He was more the guy that deserved to be the media darling.
Exactly. And Bird was that trash talking son of a gun that was just balling. He said, I don't care about anybody else. I'm gonna put up 50 on you. And he'll tell
And
it
this
to
is
your
the
face.
thing. Here's the funny thing. I actually think that what we just characterized is more accurate to Angel and Caitlyn. I think Angel has more of the superstar
Qualities?
vibe to her, qualities, the way she dresses, the way she doesn't take shit,
She
the way
wants
she
it.
yes,
She's
she
she's
wants it. She
embracing it.
wants right. Whereas
Yes.
Caitlyn, like you said, is not even on social media. She just comes to play the game. She's about the game. And both, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with either
No.
one.
No.
But it's again, to your point, what is the media? What does the fans gratiate themselves or gravitate to?
Two things though here. Two things about, because I do think Angel Reese has the skills to be one of the all-time greats, but she's not playing that way. So number one, she has to play up to that standard she's putting herself on that pedestal. And number two, do not take all that energy and put it towards one. You got another 12 people that got drafted with you. Call them out. Call them out and say,
everybody.
I'm the one.
If you're gonna be the villain, yes, I
be the
agree.
villain to all. You know what I'm saying?
Agree.
So
that
it just makes you look petty when you're going against one.
Yes.
No, go against everyone. She didn't get drafted number one. Tell them, yo, this is why I'm the best in the freaking league.
Beating everybody who got drafted before me. I agree with that. 100%.
You hear those guys. I think it was it Peyton Manning? One of these guys, quarterbacks that got drafted like probably 2 or 3. It says he goes into a press conference. Says, oh, what do you have to say with the people that passed up on you? So get ready. I'm gonna beat up on you guys when I see you that week. And that's what you have to do.
I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying? If you want to take the villain, take the full villain aspect. Tape it all.
Not just one girl.
Yeah.
But again,
that's why it looks petty. That's why it looks petty to me.
It is. Yeah. And it's not even looking.
And they call it, and it's not even the people are calling jealously. Sure, you can be jealous.
Yes,
but you have a bigger persona. Like people are following you more. I'll say more Black people are following you because you went to the Met Gala. Caitlyn didn't. You're dressing up with these vegan peoples. You're in music videos. You have superstar slapped in your face. Play like a baller.
Yep.
Play like a baller, and people will recognize and can't say shit about it at all.
And that's why I agree with you there. And I also say the same for Caitlyn, but in a different. They both have to ball out in order to carry the league to the next level. They both have to ball out.
Yeah.
And ironically, I actually kind of think Caitlyn should lean into the rivalry more. Like
that's not her though. That's the thing. That's not her.
But then we can't judge one by the different stick. Like if Angel's, if we're gonna say that about Caitlyn, that's not you. Don't do that. Then we shouldn't say Angel that this is. Don't be this person when that's who she is.
No, but the thing is, Caitlyn didn't ask for this. It was just thrust upon her. Right? It was just because she's the number one, because she had all these acolytes coming in. She didn't want to be that person. Now, there's other people that can just ball just as good.
I don't know if I agree with that. You mean the attention?
She didn't ask for the attention.
Okay, maybe the attention. She
her
wants
skill,
to be the greatest.
Oh, 100%. She showed she could be the greatest. She's the greatest NCAA player in the history of NCAA. So it's going to follow you. But I don't think she was ready for all the eyes on her. I don't think so. So when I see Angel going in, that's why I said if Angel's going to go in like that, go in on someone who's going to push back. Going against the girls
That's why I see. That's why I'm saying I think Caitlin should push back. I'm talking about for the betterment of the league because the rivalries sell, man. The Lakers Celtics
yeah,
sell.
yeah. No, you're
The
right.
the Leafs,
Bulls, Knicks. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, Bulls,
yeah.
Knicks. These things sell.
You're right. No.
Detroit versus Jordan and the Bulls. Those things sell, and it is selling as is.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
imagine, and I'm not even saying that she has to go in and see the one thing about where Angel is, I think is smart, is she's not calling a name, but we
Yeah,
know who she's talking about. I think
yeah.
Kaylin can
Smart.
kind of do the same thing. You don't have
It's
to
true.
call a name, and even better for her, similar to what you're saying about Angel, she can
Mhm.
always. There's a lot of jealousy in this league. A lot of girls
Yeah,
don't like me because of this, because
yeah.
I'm gonna show them da 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 da. Boom. Because again, by next year, this time, if she's not even if she's balling, because I still think they'll do it anyway.
Yeah.
But if she's playing reasonably well, because she can't fall off of a cliff, if she's
No,
playing reasonably well, by next year, the league is going to protect her. She'll be fine.
I agree.
Or they're
I
going to
agree.
draft or get some player that's going to knock over whoever knocks
Chocolate.
her over.
See, and there's talk about people trying to sign certain enforcers to help protect her.
You
That's
should
a
do it.
great move.
You
That's a
should do
great
it.
move.
But
You go
this is what I'm saying.
just
And
turn it
here's
into some bully ball, you know.
and that's the
Bring in your
hypocrisy in people watching the game, where we could sit here and say go get a bully to bully the bullies, but they have a problem, and that's within the game, and we're cool
yeah,
with that, but we
yeah,
have a problem with the bullies bullying Caitlin.
yeah,
No,
yeah. No, I
this
get
is
it.
the
I get it.
game, bro.
Yeah.
That's the
But
game.
again, now that dirty hit from Kennedy
Mhm.
when it was a non-basketball play, the ball was out
Okay.
of bounds, and she came
Mhm.
up and called her a B and then gave her that shimmy.
Yeah,
What do you say about that?
I have no problem with it. That
Wow.
particular Kennedy, that's her game. This is not Caitlin reserved. She plays like that all the time. And what I people leave out is Caitlin trash talks. Caitlin elbowed her on a play before that.
I didn't see
It
that.
just this is the thing, because it's not shown, because it's Caitlin Clark. And
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily cool with it, but I get why they do that. But again, it's not necessarily a basketball play, but it happens within the game all the time. Did she get a foul called on her? Did the referees take care of it on court? If the referees turned a blind eye to what Kennedy did, I'd feel a little differently. But if it's
They,
caught,
they, they almost didn't. They didn't see it,
yes, that's true.
but
But they
they
did do it.
fixed it.
They
Yes.
fixed it.
Yes.
It's a part of the game, and we can't. It's sort of like this for me. Um, when people compare Jordan to LeBron, and people say LeBron is soft and he cries for every call, and the referees are playing in his favor. I always point to the league changed the rules for Jordan. They changed the rules for
Mhm.
Jordan,
No
and people
handshake.
don't point to that
Mhm.
as Jordan was soft because he didn't quote unquote necessarily publicly ask for it.
No, he didn't.
Fine,
It's the league
but
and protecting their
protection is
investment.
protection.
Yeah.
Right.
Whether
Protection
it's
is
the league
protection.
or yeah, yeah. Right. You're right.
And to change the rules to me is a much bigger deal than me being on the court while playing saying, "Hey, ref, what's up with the calls, bro? Why you ain't calling?" That's for me, that's more within the game than changing the rules of the game to benefit a player. That's just me. But yeah.
And it happens in every league because there's Gretzky,
Protect your investment.
There's Gretzky X league change rule changes. There was the Brady rule changes, the Tuck rule that happened that started the whole Brady era. So again, you're right. You're right.
Protect your investment.
You're right. Now
It's a
we have to see what happens. Now, just before we move on to something else, the final thought about the basketball situation is that these two women were left off of the U.S. basketball team. Is that a right choice or a wrong choice?
I'm on the sort of on the fence. I don't see anything wrong with them being left off because they are
Mhm,
brand new.
mhm,
And again, they're not playing great right now to be saying they deserve to be on that team.
Right.
We are now seeing that when they're playing with women of that level and caliber, because again, the women's basketball around
International.
the world is much closer than the men's basketball around the world.
Yeah.
So if to see them playing now in a professional league and they're not necessarily holding their own the same way that they did in college, do they deserve to be on that team? I don't know. Play
I don't think.
wise,
I don't think
I
so.
don't think so either.
They're
But
not.
again, if we're talking about growing the game, similar to how we're talking about changing the rules to protect your investment, put them on that team, give them international eyes.
The
So
thing
it
is,
depends on what's, if we're talking
the
business, yes. But if we're
but
just talking basketball, no.
okay. If we're talking international, they don't need international eyes right now. They need U.S. eyes
Oh, you always need it, bro. You always need it. You
right
always need it.
now.
You always need it.
Because
You always
remember
need it.
when the
You
U.S.
gotta
when the Americans put that dream team together, Jordan and all these guys were already superstars. They already knew who they were.
different reasoning, because remember it wasn't professionals yet, and
Right.
no, the one thing about that is part of the reason they did that is because they wanted to grow the game internationally. That's
Well,
part
no,
of why
yeah, yeah. That's
David Stern said, "Yeah, let's do
yes. Okay.
this
No, but their
because we
reason, yeah,
have these
no.
stars. Let's let the world be able to
Okay.
view them."
They were trying to, okay, you're right. David Stern was trying to bring in the international superstars to their league. Man, like cool coach. He saw these guys, he's playing against these guys.
Yeah, that
All of a
also,
sudden,
that's part of
Mike
it.
says, yo, you should come play in our league, man. This is a joint. We can get you dollars. That's what he's gonna be saying to him. Kuko's gonna say, yeah, you're right.
Well,
Let's
Kukoc was
go.
already on his way. He's already on his way.
No,
That's what.
but I'm saying he can now, they can bring in the internationals,
Yeah.
right?
No,
I don't think the WNBA is ready for all those internationals yet, because then they'll
I'm
turn
not.
the league.
Yeah, but you still want the international fan base to watch. Because again, yeah, you got to remember, WNBA is not that popular over here.
But that's what I'm saying. So
But
if you don't show it everywhere, how are you gonna get eyes on it?
you've been showing it in the States and you've been showing it. So if you
Yeah.
take it on an international stage,
Mm-hmm.
if you get eyes overseas watching it, it grows the game over there, and then you don't necessarily need as much as of the local fan base to watch, because you're getting your what's the word I'm looking for, supplemented by the international fan perhaps. And not only that, it grows it either way, because the world works cyclical, not
Mm-hmm.
like we feed off of each other. So
Yeah, yeah.
if it's growing over there, eventually that wave comes back home over
It
here.
hits us. Yeah.
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 And it doesn't hurt. That's one thing, it doesn't hurt. But
You're right.
again, basketball wise, nah, they don't deserve to be on that team.
I
But
don't think so.
in order to be the face, in order to grow the sport, I would put them on just for that reason. If it's
Now,
business, yes.
now this is true though that the men's league always brought a college star on their roster. Do the women have the same type of contract or type of organization? Or sorry,
I don't
kind
believe they
of.
do this year. But that's another reason why I think one of them should have been on the team.
I wouldn't say one. I would say if it was one, it had to be two. One would kill the league. Two would build the league. Because now you have these two people that have to play with each other. You know what I'm saying?
No, I see what you're saying. That way, it's better for two. But
Yeah.
again, Caitlyn is so big. If
Why
you just
bother
put
put
her
the other?
alone,
Yeah.
for
And
me,
then
it's not a
two.
why bother. For me, I would rather. I'm with you. Put both of them on. But
Yeah.
if I'm looking at business and marketing, she's so big you don't need both of them. You can just use one.
I feel again to close on this. I feel that if this is done right, because I was just watching. For some reason, my feed was full of the Larry Bird Magic stuff because of what's going on. And when Larry Bird retired, and Magic came out in the Boston jersey, I want to see that with Caitlyn and Angel Reese.
Yeah, and I think that'll happen
That
eventually.
connect. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
I think it'll
saying?
happen eventually.
Come
I think
All
so.
Star game is going to look nice. I want to watch
Yes,
their All Star game.
yes, yes.
Those are things, because again, I've been trying to watch these games and I can't because of whatever reason, but I'm going to be invested if they put them on shows that I can watch them on.
Get you a Fire Stick, man. Get a Fire
No,
Stick.
I have the access to it, but I can't ever catch it in time to say, you know what?
Oh.
So I'm like, oh, is it on TNN or TNT? No. Is it on this? No. I don't even know what
But
channel is
thing,
actually playing them.
NBA TV is playing a lot of their games, especially
Okay,
now
so
that the NBA's
sponsoring
slowing
them.
down
Yeah.
and in the off season because their seasons are
Okay.
different timing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So they are
Okay.
playing a lot of
Oh,
it.
then I'll definitely check NBA TV
Yeah.
then for sure. And
Hold
speaking of
on.
that, I
Pause
think
1 second. Give me a
yeah.
pause real quick.
Now, speaking of again TNT and so forth, it comes to my attention that it's a possibility that TNT will no longer have the rights to show the NBA on their station, which means we will lose Shaq, Kenny, and Sir Charles on one of probably the best sports talk show in the history of sports.
Yeah, arguably.
I know you can't, and again, people are saying this, and not including Ernie, but Ernie's a lifer with Turner Sports. He doesn't just
Hmm.
do basketball, so
Hmm.
he can't go.
Basically, like a producer up there.
Yeah, he is the
Hmm.
man there. He's a
Hmm.
legend. So and people are saying, as Stephen A. said, that if this does happen, he might just retire.
Who, Ernie?
Yeah,
Yeah, I can see that.
that's I mean that's not his bread and butter, but I mean he's been doing that for how long?
Yeah,
And
I mean, he's got the bread. He's
so
good.
well. Now the question is, do you now recreate this whole thing on one of their on the I guess their streaming services? I'm not sure if they're going to
Hmm.
stream all of it or are they going to just break, because I know people are saying they're trying to get Charles onto whatever. If you take one, you
Hmm.
got to take everybody. What do you think? Do you think they should keep it or just disband, separate?
Yeah, it's funny. On one end, I'm like, yeah, no, you can't end that. It's so good. It's like you said, one of the best, definitely the best half times in sports, or best commentary group put together in sports
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
ensemble. But part of me, and then the other side of me is like, hey, go out on top, man. Go on top. There's always time for something new. I
True.
personally don't think they're gonna end it. Like in my heart of hearts, for some reason, I think they're gonna come to like a last minute deal type thing and keep going
Okay.
somehow.
Okay.
Whether they move
Okay.
over to another network or like you said, do some type of streaming thing in
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
background. Uh, yeah, it's too important to the NBA. It's part of the culture right now of the NBA.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I don't see them getting rid of it. But money's money. You never know. Business is business. They might not want to pay them that much money to stay around, type thing.
But do you think that it's
Um,
all about the money though with those guys? Really? I mean, they're
not with the
all
not necessarily with the cast, but when I say that, I mean, like we were saying, if they're gonna move to a different network, they might not want to let them go to a different
mm,
network and let them take their ratings with them to grow a different network, their direct competition, right? So
fair enough. Fair enough.
uh
I I
yeah,
think I think if that's the case, the WNBA should sign them. Take
that's
the
not a bad
reins.
idea. It's not a
Take the
bad
reins.
idea.
Yeah, if you need eyes,
That's
put
not
these
a bad
guys in
idea.
there. It's not like they don't know basketball. They know the
Mm,
women. They know basketball better than most
yeah.
people. Throw them in
My
there.
argument there, if I was to give one, is shouldn't they try to create a
Women
woman's version?
who if they're not honestly, if they're not a part of the NBA or WNBA right still,
Mhm.
or they're not coaching, what are they doing? So why aren't they? Where is the actual women's WNBA version of Charles and them?
Well,
There's no
I don't think the sport's big enough to have that level of guys or women, sorry, to pay to do that. Even though it wouldn't be the same pay scale, of course, because they're not
yeah,
as
yeah,
big. But
yeah.
I see Cheryl Swoops on Gil's Arena sometimes. I think she could
She's
do it.
yes, but
I
I think she's
You
a
mean
bitter
if you're
person
talking
too.
about the
The Lobos, the Lisa Leslie's, and all the but again, Witherspoon is coaching, right? All the ones, all the greats. Miss
Mhm.
Cooper, what is she doing? She's coaching, isn't she?
Yes, she
Yeah.
coaches
So
Angel Reese.
right. So all these people are coaching. The ones that are
Mhm.
still involved. The ones that are not, they've got all their other things going on. They don't even want to be part of WNBA. They're talk. If that's the case, it'd be like when I saw Sheriff Swoops on Gilbert's podcast. I'm like, what are you doing for the league? I haven't heard or seen anything you do for how long? You could
Mm.
be helping the process instead of complaining about the process that's going on with the ladies there. Build the brand, not kill the brand. So
I
come together.
I agree with that. I also think there's a point of I think the NBA is very good at connecting their past to their present and bringing like making the legends a part of what currently goes
Mm,
on, which I
true.
think the WNBA has not learned that trick very well yet. So I agree. While I agree as an individual, Cheryl Swoops could do more. Uh,
Mhm,
I think the WNBA also itself could do more with connecting those greats from the past with these current girls. Like even as simple as, and I don't even know if they did this because I didn't watch the draft, but even as
mhm,
simple as when they're coming into the league, making that comparison to legends. Like
mm,
she's a Sarah Swoops like. He's a
mhm,
this
mhm.
like
Yeah, yeah.
that type of the I don't how long has the WNBA been around? If it's over 25 years, where's their top 25 of all time?
Well said.
Where's
Yep.
there if even if it's not like even if it's 20 years, where's
Yeah.
your top
Give
even if
some
it's 10,
recognition.
where's your top 10 of all time? Anything like
Right.
this to
Right.
say to create legacy. That's
Yes.
what we're speaking of. They
No,
they
you're
need
right.
to be better at creating legacy.
You're right. You're right. And I agree. They need to make the connect. They don't make the
Anytime an
connect.
NBA team wins, what happens? When the Raptors won, what happened? They brought Vince Carter in town. They brought T Mac in town. They brought Bo Pete. All these older great legends for that team who put the
Mhm.
team on the map are interviewed and highlighted as
Yeah.
well. They
Yeah.
came all this way, and that happens with every team in the NBA. Anytime somebody
Well, in
wins, their
sports.
legends are a part
In
in sports
sports.
almost. It's
When
just
you
the other
have
day I saw when the Oilers made the Stanley Cup final, they're interviewing Wayne Gretzky.
exactly, exactly. And that's
You
the
got to do that.
connect. That's you
Yes.
have to you bring the old, the new. I'm like, oh, he played for us. Yeah.
Right.
Then
You
they
got to
start
do
showing
that.
highlights.
Right.
They need to do the same thing.
Right.
Again, it's a marketing. I mean, I
It's
would love
marketing.
to watch the WNBA on a regular basis during the offseason of the NBA, right? Because I love sports, I love competition. But if you're not showing it to the masses, no one's gonna be there, fighting for you. Say, hey, yeah, how do you like the Aces? Oh, I've only seen one game. Do you know that their best player in the world is on that team? Yeah,
Yeah.
who is it?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Angel Wilson.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm like,
But
I'm looking at her stat line. I'm like, this is amazing, but I can't see the game.
this is part of the thing, though, that the ladies argue. Part of their point is we are comparing an established entity, the NBA, to an establishing entity, the WNBA. So what we have to look at the WNBA in its current state is what we were looking at the NBA before the Raptors and Grizzlies came along.
Ah, I call shenanigans, man. The
No,
NBA wasn't.
hold
Yeah,
on, but wait.
yeah.
The,
Go
the,
on.
the reason why I'm saying that is to your point, they're not going to be on every network like the NBA wasn't. Remember what it was like growing up trying to watch NBA games? It's very
Weird.
difficult,
Yes,
very difficult to watch
one
until
hundred percent.
Jordan came along.
Yeah, and
Then
then
it
you put
started to
Jordan.
grow.
Yeah,
So again, Caitlin is their potential Jordan. That's how they're trying to get her. They're trying to push her or her potential LeBron, whichever
yeah.
great that actually push the envelope forward.
You got
They're
it.
trying to make her be that vehicle, and if they succeed, you will get what you're asking for.
She could be the biggest female athlete if they do it right.
And if she plays right,
So that's what I mean. Like if they
yes,
play it right and
both,
they market her, she could be the biggest female
yes,
athlete out in
yeah.
the world
Because you ain't
because
getting people ain't watching tennis if Serena's losing.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. There and people started knocking out, falling asleep, watching Tiger not make the cut. Like people were watching Tiger because of Tiger. People were broadcasting because of Tiger. You know what I'm saying? Because he was
I didn't
excelling.
watch golf until Tiger came along. And I haven't watched golf since Tiger kind of fell off,
Yeah.
quote unquote.
I mean, I watched one or two, but I'm like, who's this guy? I think I
Yeah,
watched a Mike Weir one time. Like, all right, Canadian. Like, that's it.
but that's entertainment. If you don't identify with it, because me too, I watched because Mike Weir, because
Yep.
there's a Canadian up there, and I was
Exactly.
watching when tennis, for example, when what's that girl's name? I can't remember her name, but she's
Oh,
from Oakville or something like that.
I know. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I know who
Even
she won second. It was just, did you know she won the tournament that time you're talking about?
something like that.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Something
yes.
like that.
She won it in Canada, I believe. It was the
Yes.
Rogers Open. Yes, I
Right.
remember
But I
that. Yes,
haven't watched since because she hasn't been that good since.
exactly.
I even NBA, for example, nowadays, especially regular season, I'll watch definitely when Shea's playing. I'll watch when Jamal Murray's playing. Like I'll watch the Canadian guys more than and LeBron, but
Mhm.
I'll watch the Canadian guys more than I watch the team.
Yeah,
More than I watch the Raptors, I'll watch
hey,
those guys.
I'll even go further. Back in the day, I used to watch Jacques Villeneuve race because he's a Canadian man. I didn't know anything about racing, but they put Jacques Villeneuve on it.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You have that passion because you can relate. You're a
It's a
Canadian,
connection.
you're Canadian, or you're a
It's a
black
connection.
man and you know, or you're a woman and you have to make
Yeah,
that connection. Once you make that connection, poof,
that's the
everything
sports
else, and
side of it. Yeah,
especially when they're excelling, that's
exactly.
easy marketing for yourself.
Exactly.
Easy
But
marketing.
to bring it back to or if it's just simply entertaining, which brings it back to the uh
The group of men
shoot,
there, yeah.
the group of men,
Hmm.
Kenny, Ernie, Shaq, and Charles,
Yeah.
they're super entertaining,
Hmm.
and you have so many different personalities there
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
work well together. Like Ernie and Kenny are more the
Yeah.
cool,
And there's
rational guys, and then
the
jokey
jokesters,
Charles
yeah,
and
yeah,
and
and Shaq.
super emotional Shaq and
Yeah,
Charles going
yeah.
back and forth. That's what works there. So I don't think they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna end it. I think maybe it'll change in some way at
We'll
best.
see. We'll see when the playoffs are over. And speaking of the
Yeah,
playoffs,
but they have
we
one more
have
year apparently. Apparently, this is not
to
the
do
last.
what? To
They,
do
they're
what?
in there. They have one more year on the contract, but
But
it's
the
being
NBA is,
spoken about.
but I heard they're switching already though. Next
I don't
year.
know. I don't know because the last time when I was watching them last, somebody was they were interviewing somebody and the person was like, "Oh, you guys can't go nowhere. You guys can't go nowhere." And then Ernie was like, "Well, we still got like a year left." So
He's letting them
everybody's
know
acting
we're
like it's
not done yet.
over. It's not over yet,
Okay,
and we'll
okay.
see what's
Well,
gonna happen. But I could be wrong, but that's how I understood it.
see. Now, speaking of again NBA and NBA playoffs, now we have the final two: Dallas and Boston.
Mhm.
Who are you picking for this series after that first game? That shocked me. Shocked me.
Ah, going
Yeah.
into it, I had the Mavs. I did have the Mavs.
I said imagine six when I started.
Yeah, I had the Mavs in about 6, but like a
Then
lot
Ingus,
of people,
Ingus,
it's a
Ingus.
yeah, it's about Porzingis. It
Oh
was
my!
a lot to do with how if he was gonna play and how he was gonna play. But with that guy playing well, I mean, Boston already had more talent to me than Dallas going into it.
For sure.
Dallas just had the momentum, and I
Yes.
think Luca is the best player on the court.
Yes.
Kyrie arguably being the second best, if not third. So if they have the two quote unquote better players, I
Mhm.
thought they were going to bring it out. But that Porzingis guy turns the tables a little bit too much.
Out of nowhere, I'm good to play, and all of a sudden he drops 18 and a half. I'm like, yo, where was this guy? Who brought this? Who brought the freaking guy here? But they knew what they were doing. They
Yeah,
saved him
saved him.
until they needed him, and they needed him to put a beating on these guys. So this might be a Boston 5
I still think
right
it
now.
goes at least 6 because I
Oh,
think we got to remember the Dallas dealt with the same thing last series, or both of
yeah,
their other
yeah, yeah,
series. They
yeah,
lost the
yeah,
first game and came back
yeah.
to win the series. I think they'll get the 2 games, at least 2 games.
At home.
I don't know if they're going to win anymore,
I
but
mean,
because that we Jason Tatum is due to have a bad game. Well, that's going to happen.
Jalen Brown
So
too.
no, but if one of them have a bad game,
Then you can capitalize.
we could sneak in. The Mavs could sneak in a win there. I see what Jason Kidd is doing. He's trying to divide and conquer by
Yeah.
saying Jalen Brown is the best player on the team.
You heard that?
That guy's a smart guy. That guy. Listen, we're talking about a guy who called his player over to knock his water out of his hand, so he didn't need to use a timeout to talk to his team. Cerebral. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying to win, buddy.
That man's a genius. That man's a genius. Now,
and he's not wrong
Nope.
either. Like right now,
Nope.
he's not wrong.
No, he's not
Oh, yeah.
wrong. But again, other people will be thinking otherwise.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, we're talking about Tatum, we're talking about Kyrie, Jaylen Brown, and Luka. Out of those four, out of the two superstars, who deserves the ring more? Tatum or Luka? Tatum or Luka?
Jeez, I hate the Celtics, man. You're asking me to. I like those two guys on the team. I like like three of the guys on this Celtics team for the first time in life. I actually like more than one player on their team.
Mm-hmm.
I hate the Celtics though, and they have so much championships. So I'm gonna say the Mavs. I'm gonna say the Mavs.
You're saying Luka and the Mavs?
Yeah, I gotta say Luka. I gotta say Luka deserves it more because Luka's a better player overall. Again, he might be the next face of the league. I believe the league would like that to happen.
I think so. That would change.
I think they would love it to happen.
Yeah.
The great white hype again. It works, man. I don't like it, but it works.
Well, I love it because it gets the other people who are not of that descent. They ral them up and start making some noise. Yeah. So watch out for some of these superstars. Come look at what's his face on OKC, our Canadian boy there. I mean,
Shea.
Yeah, Shea. He probably thought he was MVP.
He was,
a lot of people said that too.
He was.
So if you make this man, Luka Doncic, the face of the NBA, and this man who's the uncrowned MVP, watch how things
see what
go.
happens.
Yeah, man.
I can see that.
Again, but the NBA, as we were comparing the NBA and WNBA, NBA knows how to make that work.
They have their marketing down.
Right? Yeah, they can make it work to make it say, hey, this could work. Come here, Mr. Silver. I got an idea for you. Christmas Day.
I think also the thing with Luka to me is that he doesn't, unlike what was put on Bird and unlike what is being put on Caitlin, there isn't that he's the white guy that we all want to see make it to the he's the white guy that the league wants to see make it to the top, and the players not so much. The players really respect Luka. Luka is one of them. Yes. He's part of that. He doesn't have the great white hype in that way. It's not racial like that.
I get you. That makes sense. He's a well-deserved man of the league.
Yes,
and he can take the reins.
He's invited to the cookout.
Exactly. So are you saying guys like Steph and them all have fallen off?
No, that's the thing. They're looking for the next because they're still a current. LeBron is still the current face of the league.
No, I get it.
Steph being second.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. So those guys are still in the mix.
They're still there
conversation
because they're still good.
Right.
It's not like they've dropped off at all.
Right.
Like neither of them.
So they're searching for something new.
They're preparing. That's what's going on. They're preparing
for when they do.
Because I mean, I don't know about Steph. I think he could play maybe another 5 years. LeBron probably has maybe 2 to 3.
If not, maybe. If not, yeah. So you're right.
They're on their way out. They're definitely on their way out. They just need to even if they're not physically on their way out, like literally leaving the league, they're going to be physically on their way out of the league.
Yes,
their play is going to start to die off.
This makes me shake my head with John Morant just being the way he is, man. He could have been.
He still has a chance. But it's harder. It is harder.
It's difficult. It's difficult.
He's gonna have to come back this year and kill.
I mean, he has a team that he has the coach that knows he can do it. The team, I don't know what they're gonna do with the team, if they're gonna kind of rally back behind him because he's not been there. Yeah. So we'll see. Yep. But hey, that's it. That's all for this episode, folks. It's good to be back again. Slang Hue. Again, your boy Sirtoks. We are here. We're not going anywhere. We're gonna do it again next time. So again, peace and love. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on any videos that you see there. Any video. Yes. And if you have a topic for us, shoot us a message, and we'll definitely put that on the table for you guys. All right?
Yes, sir.
All right,
yes,
guys.
Sir.
Have a great day, and we're out. Peace and love.